different stories and we sing some songs, we'll be thinking about this idea about what it means to have faith when we're feeling anxious and in anxious times. And this first song that the band is going to lead us in, From Need to Breathe, is actually one of my all-time favorite songs, and it's on my bad day playlist when I'm feeling anxious. So as we get ready to sing, I would invite you to think about what it is that's making you feel anxious these days. What are you holding? What are you carrying? And as we sing this song, as you hear these words, think about that thing or that relationship or that situation and see what maybe God has to say to you about that through the words of this song.
What
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, now I'm going to invite our kids up because it is time to send them to our children's ministry space that we call God's Garden. So if you are ready to go, you want to come with our friends today, come on up. We're going to send you off in style with a little song. Yeah, you can. We got some animal friends today. Good, that's good. We need lots of animal friends. All right. So these friends are going to meet up with our friends from the traditional service, but before they go, let's send them off with a little song together. You guys know the words, right? Can you lead us in the song?
We got this.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Come, oh, come to the garden. My neighbor here at God's garden. All are welcome here. Come, oh, come to the garden.
Come with the fear, known by name, here in God's
Garden. All are welcome here.
So good. Even our alligators and our snakes and our zebras are welcome, right? All right, so you want to what? Yell into the mic? Yeah, we can yell into the mic for sure. But we're going to say bye to everyone in this room as you guys go off to your room together. Do you think we can be super loud together? Okay, so I'll count to 3 and then we'll yell bye, church, okay? I'll hold it like this for you. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Have fun, church!
That was a little remix. I like it. We said have fun, church. Should they say have fun, kids, back to us? Should they say that? All right, ready, church? 1, 2, 3. Have fun, kids. All right, so grab your animal friends. And you guys are going to head out this way with Miss Maureen. And she'll send you off, okay? All right, you guys know. Amazing. I love when there's a little remix when the kids are involved. Well, good morning again. My name is Nicole Smalley. I'm the Interim Emerging Generations Director. It's wonderful to be with you all today. And now we're coming to this time in our service that we call the breathe in. And just this opportunity to take a deep breath, to recognize where we are as we're in the presence with one another and the presence of God as well. Trying to set those distractions aside and to just be here together. And today, as we talk about faith in anxious times, taking those deep breaths is so important, right? And remembering that we're here in this moment. Because our anxiety likes to take us out of the present, right? And to fear the unknown, to fear the future, to fear what's coming around the bend, right? And for me, I don't know about you, but I've been feeling more and more anxiety, right? Just the state of the world, my own personal life, it just feels like there's so much to feel anxious about. And when we started with this song and I asked you to think about what was causing you anxiety, for me what comes to mind is this sweet little baby boy that we've been foster parents to for 18 months. And for 18 months, we've had no idea what his future holds. And that's still the case. We still are waiting for a call any day to tell us what's going to happen, where he's going to go, and what his future holds. And how my anxiety shows up in that is I start in a moment with him and thinking, oh, is this going to be the last time that we go to the beach together? Is this going to be the last time that we go to the store together, whatever it may be? And then I can fixate on that and fixate on the moment and the fear of, will we have this moment again? Or what will this look like? And then I kind of spiral out of control a little bit. But I realize that my anxiety is taking me out of that moment and that time that I have with them. And it's robbing me of that. And so I have to take that deep breath and to bring myself back into the moment and back into the present together so I don't lose more time. And with our anxiety, there are so many good reasons to feel that, right? There are a lot of good reasons to fear the future and to fear the unknown. And our scripture talks about a peace of God that surpasses all understanding. And that's what I pray for in those moments, that despite the good reasons to feel anxious and how it makes sense, that I would have that peace that doesn't make sense. And I love how the Need to Breathe song describes it as just feeling like God is on our side in those moments. So whatever you're holding today, whatever you're coming into church with, I invite you to be thinking about what does it look like to feel like God is on your side in that moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to put up a few questions on the screen for you to just think about, reflect on, and then later on in our service, we'll have a chance to talk with those around our table about those same topics. But just take a few minutes to reflect individually about these questions that will be on the screen.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, I met a new friend this week. You know, my wife says I'm becoming an extrovert. It's taken me decades to work toward that goal, but met a new friend. He had heard me when I was leading that service for the fallen heroes in Burnsville a while back, a couple months ago. And he is an ex-cop, and he was facing all kinds of struggles in his life. And so I said, yeah, I'll meet with you. So we met at my local Caribou, and he told me his story, and we talked about a variety of things. One of the fascinating things, he said, you know, I go to Mass on Monday mornings whenever I'm able to. And it starts at 7:30. I get there at 6:45. And I spend that 45 minutes praying, telling God about what I'm experiencing and how I'm responding, how I'm reacting. He said, by the time Mass starts, I am so angry. I can hardly stay. And so I affirmed his candor and his honesty. I said, you sound like the psalmist. You know, you pray and you get more angry, but that's honest. That's what it is. And the hurt underneath that anger is what God wants to hear from you. And then give you some relief, give you some healing, give you some direction, and so on. These verses in Philippians are some of the verses that we love to hate because they're so positive and so encouraging, unless they're not. And so when we're facing very challenging, hurtful things, we don't want to be told, hey, rejoice in the Lord. No, I'll say it again, rejoice. That's not what we want to hear. Now, I've thought about, you know, kind of the span of my life, and there's quite a long span, but at each turn in the conservative places where I've grown up and participated, often my emotions and my questions and my candor weren't especially welcome or affirmed. When I was in college, I'd go through a variety of things that I won't go into now, but people said, well, you know, don't let your circumstances get you down. Just rise above those circumstances. And I said, how? I didn't really have a clue. And they're telling me that I ought to feel a certain way wasn't helping either. And so on and so on. Even recently, I remember several months ago, someone from our church said, well, Mark, how are you doing? And I said, well, you know, I'm feeling pretty anxious these days about a variety of things. Oh, really? As if to say, wait a minute, you're a pastor. You can't feel these things. And if they had said that, I would say, actually, yes, I can. And I do. Years ago, a young woman in one of the classes I was leading, when I started to say, you know, some of the things I was experiencing and feeling, she said, oh, wait, I don't want to hear it. I want to know that my pastors are on a pedestal. And I said, well, we don't live there. And that's too bad that you feel that way, because I'm not going to stay there. And she wasn't happy with that. But you get the idea. There are, and it's not just with pastors, it's with, you know, all of us. People sometimes don't want to hear about how difficult life can be and how we're continuing to feel those things. But most of the things that really make a difference in life, they don't go away as an event. They stay for seasons of life. And so we don't just turn it off and say, well, I'm not going to be anxious. I'm not going to be fearful. I'm not going to be whatever. We have to grow into that, and God can help us do that. So when Paul says, hey, rejoice in the Lord always, again I say rejoice, I don't think he actually believed that the people he was talking to were going to say, oh, all right, I'm going to do that from now on. I don't think he expected that of them, because he didn't really expect it of himself. When he wrote the book to Philippians, he was in jail. His life was in danger. He didn't really know what the future is going to be like. And so he was facing all kinds of very difficult, challenging situations himself. So why would he write these things? You know, Nehemiah said, the joy of the Lord is your strength. Well, he meant that also. But again, it's not something we just decide to do. No, the joy of the Lord becomes our strength as we grow, as we learn, as we, I'll say, evolve, as we deepen our faith and our trust in God. You know, Paul was writing to quite a diverse group of people in Philippi. There was Lydia. She was the businesswoman. Lydia sold the color purple, which we wouldn't think anything of that, but they would. They'd see that as the most rare color, the most expensive color. The one was in high demand from wealthy people. Well, she sold that. She was very successful in her business. And she was baptized along with the people in her house, and she became a supporter of the Apostle Paul and his ministry. She had him stay in her household with some of the people that he was traveling with, and she financially supported him. Then there was a jailer who had observed Paul miraculously being freed from jail. And he had witnessed this wonderful thing. And in doing that, in observing this, he believed and was open to Paul's message. So Paul was an example to these people and others of someone who faced very difficult, very challenging, sometimes very painful experiences, but didn't lose his faith. Rather, he deepened his faith, and he rejoiced in the middle of these things. So he directs them not only to experience joy, but he says, let your gentleness be made known to everyone. And that gentleness is kind of an open stance to other people, to not judge and criticize and put down and put off people, but rather to listen and to accept and understand and support them. And then he said also that he wanted the motivating thought. There I am. I found my place. Okay. The motivating thought was this little phrase where he says, the Lord is near. The Lord is near. Now, I think he means that in two ways. One, the Lord is near by his Spirit. We know from what we've learned and experienced that we can pray anytime, wherever we are, whatever frame of mind we're in. And the Lord is near, and he wants to listen, and he wants to connect with us. Also, the Lord is near. The understanding in New Testament times was that Jesus Christ was going to return very soon. Well, it's been a couple thousand years, so it's not very soon. Could be any time, but there is a sense of the Lord will return and things will be made right and so on. So that's the hope that we continually hold on to. The Lord is near. He's here now. He's returning soon. So with that in mind, because the Lord is near, you don't need to feel anxious about anything. When we feel anxious about things, it's because things are really important that are happening to us, that we're experiencing. The problem is we don't know what to expect, like Nicole was saying. We know what we want. We know what we hope for. We know what we beg God for. We have the answer, God, if you'll only listen to us. Yeah, well, how well does that work for us? But we learn to trust God as the seasons go by. So it's important and it's unknown, and of course it's out of our control. You know, that's kind of the recipe for anxiety, but it's also the recipe for our prayer. God, this is so important to me and to the people in my life. God, I don't know what to expect, but you do. Help me to trust you. God, it's out of my control, and I confess on my good days, I realize that's probably just as well, but on my bad days, I just really want to tell you what to do, and I hope you'll do it. So don't feel anxious, but by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And that prayer is kind of a general prayer. It's aware of God's presence. It's feeling at home with God. The apostle says we should pray without ceasing. And some of us used to take that literally, but what it actually means is be open to prayer. Our first thought can become God. When things are wonderful, we say, God, thank you. When things are very difficult, we say, God, help us. Lord, have mercy. Whatever the prayer is, it's right on the tip of our tongue at whatever we're experiencing. So pray without ceasing. Be aware of God's presence without ceasing. The thanksgiving is something that we can do almost without ceasing. We start by thanking God for the simple things. I was driving a couple of days ago, one of the most beautiful days that we've had. You remember that day? Much like today. But I felt the sun on my face as I was driving down the road. I thought, Lord, thank you. This is so pleasant, so positive, so good. We can thank God for the simple things, the specific things that we experience. That doesn't mean our problems have gone away, but in the middle of our problems, we can still be aware and thankful for the simple, specific things that God provides for us. And that can be a growing attitude, growing in gratitude. Each day is a gift. We wake up each morning and say, thank you for this day. Now help me through it. Help me to face the things I have to face. And thank you that you are here for me to even talk to and receive strength from. And so we bring our requests. We don't hesitate. Whatever we have in mind that we want God's help with, let him know. And some of us find it helpful literally, simply to list those things that are in our hearts, on our minds, and keep that list in mind day by day for ourselves, but also for other people. We want God to know us. And our actions of expressing our needs to God is one of the ways that we connect with him. And it's a privilege. It's our way of connecting to God. It's the basis of our faith. So prayer and faith and eventually rejoicing are all tied together. Now he says the peace of God that's beyond our understanding can guard our hearts and minds. It's not just an emotion with guarding our hearts, it's also guarding our minds, helping us focus on things that are positive, that are from God, that are gifts from God. And that's part of the way that we develop our trust in God and go deeper. You know, Paul was writing to people who needed what he had to say. I used to think that he was writing to people that already had these things. But no, he's writing to people very much like us. We're learning, we're growing, but we're not there yet. And so we continually reach for what God is saying. We start with a gratitude, we start with a prayer, and then eventually we can get to the joy as well. You know, as a chaplain in Burnsville for the last couple of decades, I've been at a number of situations in our town when we lived there. We moved from there just a year ago, but I still, when I drive around Burnsville, if I'm going down to the Dairy Queen from where we used to live, there's this one corner we turn and there's a condominium right there. And every time I've driven by that place, I think of the morning, the Saturday morning that I walked up those 2 flights of stairs to that one condominium and told the young woman that her husband wasn't coming home, that he had died the night before. After we talked, the police officer left. I talked to her for another 20 minutes or so. And then before I was leaving, I said, now, is there anything else I can do or that you want to talk about before I leave? She said, yeah, there's one thing. I said, what's that? She said, you could tell my son. Oh, well, where's your son? Oh, he's in the back bedroom. He hadn't heard any of the conversation that we had had already. I said, okay. He came out, and I told him, you know what? Your dad was in an accident last night, and he died, and he's not coming home. And I just wanted you to know that so you wouldn't wonder. Your mom will talk to you more about it when I leave. So you tell a person in that situation, hey, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. No, you say, I'd like to pray for you now, and someday I hope you'll find peace, but probably not today. Or I think of going to the place where we'd have our car work done. You know, you go down the boulevard there, you turn right, and then you turn left. And as you turn left, you see the, what's the name of it? Fast food restaurant, Subway. You see the Subway restaurant right there. And every time I drive by there, every time, I glance at the Subway and say, oh, that's where she worked. This beautiful young 17-year-old. She worked there one night, and then she went home and was, quote, sick the next day. And she took an overdose of her medication for depression, and she died. But every time I drive by the Subway, I think of that young girl, and so on. Or I won't go on, but there are other situations. You see those places. I was talking with one of our captains the other day at our chaplain's meeting. He said, yeah, we used to encourage our officers to live in the city where they worked and be part of the community. But he said, driving around the community, you have so many memories, like I was talking about. There's so many memories of incidents that happened, things you had to do, ways people were hurt, ways people hurt others, and it was just too much. And so now we encourage people, their choice, but you don't have to live in the city. You can live in another town, close at hand or half hour away even, and that's fine. So we have all these situations, and we're called on to live with this tension between rejoicing, finding faith, finding hope, finding pleasure in life, and then being honest and candid and genuine about the emotions that those situations bring. And so there's a tension there. I've felt it myself for a long, long time. Perhaps you do too. You want to have that joyful, positive attitude, but you want to be genuine and authentic. You want to express yourself to people. People aren't attracted to the faith that perfect people have. I believe they are attracted to people who are learning year by year, season by season, to receive God's help along the way, but not all at once, and not automatically, and not easily. Very challenging. So when people talk about their issues and problems, you don't say, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. That's what we used to tell our young children. Oh, yeah, you're upset. Oh, I'll give you something to be upset about, kind of thing. It's sort of a joke, but not all the time. So we have this tension. I experienced it some years ago when my wife, Polly, good morning, Polly, received her diagnosis of leukemia. Last night we were with the same couple we were with almost 4 years ago. He was a doctor. He said, Polly, I don't usually do this, but I want to tell you, your coloring doesn't look good. I'd like you to see the doctor soon. Oh, okay. So that a couple of days later, she had an appointment. She saw the doctor. They did some blood tests. They called later that day and said, we've got an appointment with you on Friday, 2 days later, with a specialist. Oh, it must be serious. They called at 8 o'clock that night and said, actually, we'd like you to come in. Oh, when? Now, tonight. So, dropping her off at the hospital just an hour later was not what I was expecting. And very challenging for both of us, her in her own way and me in my own way. But shortly after that, she went to the hospital for a couple months doing chemotherapy and all kinds of things. During COVID, very challenging, couldn't visit each other often, and so on and so on. But I had this experience. I've told some of you about it before. I was laying in bed, and it wasn't a dream. It was more just a sense that I was falling, kind of free falling, out of control. I think it was just anxiety at work in my mind and my senses also. And then as I had that experience, I remember that verse in Isaiah that those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They'll mount up with wings as eagles. They'll run and not be weary. They'll walk and not faint. And so in prayer, I just kind of spread my arms out and said, God, help. And I had this sensation of flying rather than falling. But the emotion was so intense, it was a physical sensation, not just a thought or an emotion. Very intriguing. So we all have things that cause us to feel like we're falling, feel like we're out of control. It can be our own lives, our own health, our own circumstances, our own failures, or other people that we care about, and we watch them experience things, and it's important and it's unknown to us, and they are out of our control. We can't fix it for them either. We have this often with our children or grandchildren. You know, the old definition that having children is like having your heart leave your body and walk around in the world. And that's how much we care, and we can't control it. So we either learn to trust or we learn to be in despair when important, significant things happen to ourselves or the people that we love. The central truth is that God is with us. So how do you process these thoughts in your own experience these days? If you'd put the questions back up on the screen behind me, same questions. We're not done talking yet, if you will, if you would like to talk about it. But the things that go on in our lives are extremely important. They're unknown to us, and they're out of our control. That's a recipe for anxiety, but it's also the recipe for our prayer life. Those are the things that we bring to God day by day and in the middle of the night, in the middle of the night. So I didn't just invite you to talk about those things right now. I have a psalm that I'd like to read. It's kind of a benediction before you talk. This was written by a woman who was 100 years old, not too long ago, and she died even more recently. Her name was Margaret, an amazing woman. I won't go into her whole story, but here's, in her wisdom, in her decades of life, this is how she expressed Psalm 23, which is the most common, the most known psalm in the Bible. But here's how she wrote it. You, Lord, are my caregiver. All my needs, and even some wants, will be met. You mandate that I stop to rest, to think, and to meditate in this beautiful world. You guide me into sustaining environments. You give me hope. You lead me into nourishing experiences because you are ultimate goodness. Even though debilitating, dark, and disbelieving thoughts want entrance into my mind, your closeness helps me to stave them off. Your promises are like a staff or anchor to keep me steady in my belief. Although there are forces battering my belief in positive thinking, you keep me a strong believer in it and protect me from negative thinking. You drench me with a spirit of peace and calm. You are giving me a life beyond anything I ever dreamed of. I know I can depend on your mercy, love, and guidance throughout my earthly days, and I can anticipate a glorious future. Amen. So talk among yourselves at your table, and then we'll have our final song.
long, got to the side, and I'm like, it takes you like a long time to get through all. And so some of those things were just weighing on me, plus regular stuff, and I just listed them all out. And I spent extra time like pages I just forget, and then later the next day I'm like, these prayers weren't answered, But the act of writing them out, and I have to write them down. The part, it used to at first be to record, or I can go back and read, pray for others. It's actually like therapy. It's like I lay them out. All right, I'm gonna trust you to go on. We'll get to this, Yeah, that measurable, like, being able to go back and ask for that. And then at that point, you were like, well, yeah, I'm pretty happy about it, I'm tired, but I'm Yeah.
And then let me just process it. I used to switch stage before let's have a session. Everybody doesn't need to have it.
Yeah, it depends on who you're talking to.
I think a lot of
So would you want someone to, like, if you ask them what they were talking about, you want them to respond if they were not feeling well?
say I want, but I don't think that I don't choose to ask them. I think that's kind of somebody
Apartment over here.
There is a difference of like, hi, how you doing? Or, that, like, you tell that time.
Right.
But I also this too is like somebody might say that, and then you say, well, what's on your mind, or what it says, like what else? Like, his husband said, please put me there. She said, talk to my son. I think that's the value.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Rachel Lucius, and I am the new Alternative Service Coordinator. So you'll be seeing me up here. Thank you. I'm very excited to help shepherd this service forward. It's been important for our family, and I love a lot of the faces that I'm looking at. So I'm happy to be here with you all today. Couple announcements. After the service today, you'll notice all of these lovely flowers and tablecloths. There's going to be the volunteer brunch. All people are welcome to stay, even if you have not, even if you don't identify as a volunteer, you're welcome to stay. But come and celebrate all of the good work that's being done in our church. Next Thursday, or this Thursday, June 13th, at Steel Toe Brewing is Theology on Tap. If you have not experienced that, I highly recommend it. That was our entry point into this church. You don't need theological training, and you don't need to drink beer. But come join us for some good conversation. And then on June 20th, from 6:30 to 8, we are hosting an urban monasticism event. Come and explore the spiritual rhythms of urban monasticism with an inspiring session of Vespers and a celebration of the Eucharist. Our guest, Paul Prinz, did I say that right, Christian? Yeah. will guide us through a reflective conversation on the essence of monastic life as it intertwines prayer and work rooted in ancient traditions, yet profoundly relevant today. Whether you're curious about monastic practices or seeking a deeper spiritual path, this event offers a unique opportunity to connect with others and discover how to integrate these timeless principles into your daily urban life. How'd I do? All right, stand for our last song, please.
Feel like a drop in the ocean, but don't nobody notice. Maybe it's just all in your head. Feeling like you're trapped in your own skin. Now your body's frozen, broken down, you got nothing left. When you're high on emotion and you're losing your focus, you feel too exhausted to pray. Don't get lost in a moment or give up when you're closest. All you need is somebody to say it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. When you're down and you feel ashamed, it's okay not to be okay. Feel like you're lost in illusion, lately you're secluded, thinking you'll never get your chance. Feeling like you got no solution, it's only 'cause you're human, no control outside of your hands. When you're high on emotion and you're losing your focus, you feel too exhausted to pray. Don't get lost in the moment or give up when you're closest. All you need is somebody to say it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. Ooh, when you're down and you feel ashamed, it's okay not to be okay. When you're high on emotion and you're losing your focus and you feel too exhausted to pray. Don't get lost in a moment or give up when you're closest. All you need is somebody to say it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. Ooh, when you're down, you feel ashamed. Ooh, it's okay not to be okay. Ooh, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. Ooh, when you're down, you feel ashamed. Ooh, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. Ooh, it's okay not to be okay.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Well, it's okay not to be okay, but you know what? We don't have to stay there. And we pray that we'll be able to support one another, encourage each other along the way. It's like the sound system right now is not okay, but that's okay. Listen, thank you for coming today. We appreciate your presence. Stick around for the brunch. They'll be making the transition and bringing the food out, and we can celebrate the fact that we're participating together in this community of faith. Have a great day.
Thank you.